Alright guys, Bill, I'm here back with more Disco Elysium. It is the next morning. Yeah, yesterday didn't play out like I thought. So last night, I did play some of Disco Elysium. The problem is that I was also scheduling stuff for my main channel along the way. And I kind of got distracted and really just didn't pay attention to the game. And I decided, you know what, fuck it, let's just stop playing and finish the scheduling. And then here we are this morning. Is it morning still? It is 11:42. We are going to continue on with Disco Elysium. I just loaded back into the save that we ended with last episode. So I believe we just got the crowbar, right? Or something. Oh, no, we got the keys. So either way, we got the thing that opens up this. So let's do that. Let's try to pay attention this time.
This trash container is
Yeah, did a lot of scheduling. Scheduled the next 3 months of the channel, along with also anniversary videos for 2023.
The lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time.
Why is this audio play so late?
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows. The methodology in your fingers. You're used to this. No, searching for evidence in the trash. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. And among the threadbare kitchen towels.
Alright, I guess if we're getting a kit, it doesn't look like we're getting a cast release for Survivor today. I haven't heard anything. And if we're getting it, it would be within the next 16 minutes. Which I don't think we are, so.
Jeans begin to unspool from the garbage. A rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer.
I forgot there's new sales going on PlayStation. I should check on that.
Blue jeans. Pockets. Empty. Or empty. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but... The belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of ribbed shirt that's worn by armed to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that...
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force. Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and his establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
What's he on about? Jeez. You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
See?
It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey, what's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork? Yes, it is. Look. This plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? What are you talking about? Doeth thou also thorough inventories? You should take stock of your notes. Make sure it's all there. Official notes contain informants' names. If some of it has fallen into the hands of the RCM's adversaries, bloodletting may well ensue. I see, yes. You are what we call a badass, aren't you?
Wow, went off script there. Getting your ass handed to you. You shouldn't go picking fights if your rhetorical faculties haven't suggested it.
Tell me, seeth your badass more in there, or are we done here? Ah, yes, and it would also be appropriate to start taking notes on the case. It's what cops do.
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron.
Okay.
Only in its social sensibility.
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to...
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
Okay. Oh shit.
Smell of rotten
God
food
damn it. I
rises
didn't mean to
to
do that.
greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong. The
Ah,
smell
fuck
of
off.
rotten
Oh my god, I'm a
food
fucking
rises to
idiot.
greet you. You see
God
soggy
damn it. That's
cartons,
literally the
dirty
same thing
rags,
over and over
and
again.
organic waste.
Alright, let's try this again.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
Why isn't that just the thing that ends it? There we go. Okay. So... we do have some things, right? I just want to see. So these are like some of the checks that we get, right? Okay. I might as well do this.
It's the legend found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. It It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your finger and voila! The ledger now looks marginally better. An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. It's crocodile
I forgot
teeth
people
are
say
the only thing
aluminum
keeping the
differently.
papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. Looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside the right circumstances. It is similar to the RCM watermark on your blazer the lieutenant mentioned. Didn't he say something about the headlights of his motor carriage? That you can read these there?
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. Yes, RCM vehicles have had lights tuned especially to reveal halogen watermarks.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered, with faint red lines forming short paragraphs. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average. What do you mean? Is that all? The notebook is annual. It says 51 on what remains of its cover. A molten strap of cardboard. Everything prior to this must have belonged to a previous volume. In short, there was more.
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. That's okay. We all do, sooner or later.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, Most are accompanied by a name. A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case. Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete. Sadly, the ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of this monumental event. The ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It will do, barely. But the lieutenant looks at his blue notebook. 2 fat, shiny pens hang from the binder, like large caliber bullets on an ammo belt. He is not really saying anything, just standing there, looking at them.
Know that I give this to you with resentment.
The tasks you've completed flow out of the blue oblong pen in a brash freehand uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity.
Alright,
Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. You're a swashbuckler with that pen, Harry, and it feels good. Feels like completion. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
No, actually. Any ideas? Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hangman. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good with salted dessert.
okay.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
Should we do this?
Yes,
Alright,
you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB41, then date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120111700.
Oh, forgot all that. It's Sasuke 39 gore speculation video came out today. Completely forgot that was coming out.
Why, yes, your precinct number is 41.
Alright guys, BLM here, back with a new video. In this video, we're back talking about Sasuke. Now, back in Sasuke 38, we did see a Kanzen
Every
Seihan at
lost
the end of the tournament,
alphanumeric
and
in
with
the
the
file
tradition being that we get
begins
a modified
and
course
these are
after
your-
every
I had so much fun
pickup.
making this
I thought
video.
it'd be fun
It's
to
safe to say
talk about my
HDB
course
are
predictions
yours.
for Sasuke 39. Now, within this video, I'll be talking about the entire course of Sasuke 38, running through the course obstacle by obstacle. But before we do that, I feel like we should just talk about some general things here first. Now, first up, obviously, the idea that we're going to be getting a completely redesigned course is
No,
kind of
the alphanumeric
unrealistic
begins
at
with
this point.
HDB.
Like, obviously, between Sasuke
Can't you see
17 and
that,
18,
sire,
we
is
got
time for
a
these
almost entirely new
fabrication.
course, and that was really awesome. To see
is
this
clearly
transition to
observed
Shin
from the
Sasuke,
base
this
files.
new era of
These
the
are
show,
official
really did
courses.
feel impactful at the
There
time.
is no
However, I think something you
argument
have
with
to
official
recognize about that
documents.
is that the show had a much bigger budget at that point and had much higher ratings. And at the point that we're currently at with Sasuke, the budget is a lot smaller. And that's a lot of the reason why we see such minimal changes between tournaments at this point, is because of a lack of money to be able to make new obstacles. And that is something we're definitely going to be factoring in here. Obviously, like, we can't expect a fully redesigned course because that's just unrealistic. I do think the type of redesign that we're going to get is similar to that of like a Sasuke 5.
It takes
Obviously,
about
Sasuke
half an hour
32
for
would
you
be
to
a good
piece
example
one
as well,
together.
considering that's the most recent
Mister
one. But I do think we're
Raphael,
going to get a
which one do
somewhat
you
similar
want?
course, but with a couple of modifications that are some pretty
This
major
one
ones.
is
So with
relatively
that said, let's
easy
get
to
started
reconstruct.
running through the course, and
Overnight
let's just
on
generally
1202,
talk about
a
stage 1
graffito,
first. I don't
nay,
expect
a
to see
mural,
major changes
appears
here.
on an
Obviously, it would
8-story
be cool if we
tenement
did.
overlooking
I do
Central
think there
General.
are definitely
The
obstacles
building
within
is a
this
sparsely
stage 1 that
inhabited
are pretty
ghost
stale,
tower,
but there's
part
also some
of a
obstacles here
failed
that I
real estate
really
development
like
called
still, and I don't
Grand
really feel like
Coudon.
we need to see a major modification here, particularly with the back portion of the course. I think the back portion of the course is pretty good. It's mainly the first few obstacles that are kind of bad. And
The
let's just
mural
get
is
started
enormous.
talking about the obstacles
Two
themselves. So
silhouettes,
we're going to
a
start off
man
obviously
and
with
a
the
woman,
quad step
are kissing.
into
The
rolling
text
hill
cut
combo
into
that
their
does
form
start off the first
reads,
stage and has started off the first stage since Sasuke 32, and obviously the rolling hill itself has been there since Sasuke 31.
Only
I
in the
want to get
next
rid of this.
world.
I really
For
do.
me,
I mean, I really hope we
it
get
is
rid of
too late
this
for us.
because
Wreak
to
havoc.
me, this is
People
like the
call
most
it
boring
that
obstacle to
thing
watch on
and
stage 1
that
at this
fucking
point,
thing.
especially because we see it
It's
over and
visible
over and
for
over again, and
miles.
it's a really
In
long
2
obstacle.
days,
Like,
the
for being the
station's
first
complaints
obstacle of the
desk
course,
gets clogged
it takes
with
up a
requests
good
to
chunk of
remove the
time.
bummer.
And I really
You
do feel
and
like the
your
first
partner are
obstacle of
assigned
stage 1
next.
should be a relatively short one, especially
The
because it's an
graffiti
obstacle
crew
that
Oh,
isn't
fuck.
going
to track down.
to take out any
Only the
major
bell
competitors
latchers
anymore.
have the
They
literate
did
of
obviously
industrial
earlier on,
paint
like
to
when we
mark
saw
the
the rolling hill
surface.
get first
One
introduced,
of the
like
graffito
we had so
artists
many
is rumored to be
nicknames.
Let's just
If
quick.
not fail it, then
Take
almost fail it. Like obviously we saw Takeda and Shingo fail it back to back, and that was hilarious. We saw Drew almost fail it. We saw Kano and Urushihara and Ragabaru at points fail it. We've seen like Jamie Vaughn fail it in Sasuke 37. So like there have been some notable fails on the rolling hill, but I just really want this obstacle gone at this point. Like it was cool when it was first brought back, but it's essentially being a modification of the Maruta Nobori and Kagari, which were obstacles from the first Sasuke, and the Maruta Nobori being the first obstacle Sasuke up to Sasuke 7. So it's like it's a cool callback, but at this point we don't need it anymore. Like I feel like it's so boring to watch at this point. Now the question is, what do you do to replace it? I personally wouldn't mind just another step obstacle. I mean, like I think the thing is we're going to get a step obstacle at the first obstacle. I feel pretty confident about that at this point because again I feel like at this point Sasuke is really trying to associate itself with the rest of the Ninja Warrior brand, and so much of Ninja Warrior at this point is associated with the first obstacle being some sort of step obstacle. So because I do expect the first obstacle to still be some sort of step obstacle, I would like it to be something else. Like I wouldn't mind a sliding obstacle at the first obstacle. Like I talked about this in my Sasuke 30. I wouldn't mind a silk slider as the first obstacle. Maybe make it harder, but to have that as the first obstacle wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I think normally doing a step obstacle, I don't think it really matters which one it is. Like at this point, I just want a quick obstacle. Just get a quick obstacle, get it done, get two better obstacles later down the course. I wouldn't mind the step slider returning. I don't think step slider was that bad of an obstacle to begin with. I don't know why they really got rid of it outside of just having a redesigned course. But then again, they replaced it with 12 step Sasuke 28, so like why do we even bring that back? have to begin with. I think Dome Steps is a pretty fun iteration of it, the one that they used in Sasuke 25, though. There were some rules involved with that I did not particularly like, where like if you use your hands, you would be queued, so that was kind of dumb. Really, any step obstacle, though, would do. As to be honest, this first obstacle isn't that important to me. Again, bring something new, bring something old, doesn't really matter. It's probably going to be a step obstacle, though. Now, next obstacle from Sasuke 30 with the Silk Slider, this has got to go, at least in its current placement. I mean, in the first place, like, this was mostly just a filler obstacle. Like, if you don't know what happened, obviously we had the Wing Slider before this, which was a much more dangerous obstacle. An obstacle that didn't actually take out some people. The Silk Slider was really just a joke, but a lot of the reason why the Wing Slider had been taken out was due to COVID reasons, with it being pretty difficult to clean in between runs. So now we're assuming that it's still going to have COVID restrictions and everything. So it's like, I guess they probably can't bring the Wing Slider back. So like, I wouldn't be opposed to just getting a harder version of the Wing Slider, maybe have bigger drops. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Something I really, really want, though, I would really love the rolling escargot. I know they took it out because it was too difficult after Sasuke 28, but I really, really would love to see it back. I think for a renewal tournament, I think it's kind of perfect too. Where do you think it's a difficult enough obstacle to where it's definitely going to take out some people? Of course, it's a really fun obstacle to watch. I really just love the rolling escargot. I mean, it's one of my favorite stage 1 obstacles ever. But I also feel like it's an obstacle that certain people know what to do at this point. I feel like there are ways to game the obstacle where you jump early. Like, it's not a brutal obstacle, especially if you have enough field of competitors. Also, I feel like it's really going to be one that really cuts down the field a bit, in the sense that one of my biggest issues with Sasuke 38 was that the beginning portion of the course was so easy that we were essentially seeing everyone get to the Dragon Glider and just failing there. I feel like the rolling escargot would add some challenge back before the Dragon Glider. So that would be my choice. And realistically, I'd probably see a new obstacle here. I don't know what it would be. Again, like some sort of log obstacle would probably make sense. But even if it's not that, I expect it to be some sort of slider obstacle, considering that's obviously what we have had for a while now. An obstacle that requires holding on to some sort of thing as it slides down the track. And that's probably what we're going to see here. But my personal choice would be rolling escargot. Next up, we got the fishboat.
Whatever you're looking for, Booking.com has it all.
Leslie will always take his
Book a
pants off
vacation.
when he's drunk. Burke
Fishboat,
will
and
always
I'm gonna
trash
miss on the Fishboat.
everything.
I can get rid of it, I
It's
can keep it.
just
I'm not
what
really
they
super
do.
decisive on it either
Is
way. I mean, I think more than likely we're gonna see this. I
change the nature of a
predict
man,
that it's gonna stay concerning. It just
and
like
you
really
can't
doesn't
lock them
Obviously,
away,
built it originally for
because
Kanohi,
public
moved it on to Sasuke, and has
convenience
modified it numerous times now on
small
Sasuke,
scale
but it's still there. Like maybe increase the speed of the pillars. I think that might be a fun thing to do. Maybe make the caps a bit bigger. Maybe that would be cool. I don't know. I mean, I think there's things you can do with the Fishbone. I'm not opposed to keeping it there. I think it needs some sort of modification. No, get rid of the rule where you can get pedestal. That's just dumb. Overall, I do feel the Fishbone is a fun obstacle launch, and it can be a time waster for later down the course. I think overall I'm pretty okay with it. But again, if you were to replace it, I don't even know where you would really go. I mean, I guess it would probably have to be some sort of new obstacle, maybe a new balance obstacle. Maybe you can take from A&W, get some of their balance obstacles, then not that great. You can bring back the spin bridge, but at that point, like with spin bridge rolling escargot, we're pretty much coming back to Sasuke 28, aren't we? I don't know. Like, I feel like for the most part, I'm just kind of fine with the Fishbone being there. Next up, we got the Dragon Glider, and I will put my foot down this. We need the Dragon Glider back. I love the Dragon Glider. It's one of my favorite Sasuke obstacles ever at this point. I think it's such a brilliant modification of Double Dipper from A&W. And also, it's still done a lot of damage. Like we just saw in Sasuke 38, it just decimated the field, taking out a bunch of elite competitors. Like, I think the Dragon Glider needs to stay. Now, I think the one issue with the Dragon Glider, personally, is the fact that it does take up a lot of space. Now, if you don't know, the reason why we don't have an obstacle after the warp wall at this point is because of the amount of space the Dragon Glider takes, and through that they don't have space for another obstacle, which I'm completely fine with. Again, like I think it makes stage 1 a speed course, once again, which I think it needs to stay as, because that's what's interesting to me at least. But overall, like, I want the Dragon Glider to stay. It's a fun obstacle. It's probably one of the best obstacles they've made in a while. I think it needs to be there. If you were to change it out, I don't even know what you would replace it with. Because I don't think there's a better option at this point. I think you need something new, and even if you make something new, it's like, what's something better than the Dragon Glider? I think it's the perfect obstacle for me personally. I don't need to see it go. Now for the final obstacle of stage 1, and that is the tackle.
I was not watching the video on double speed
This
now.
is interesting because Inui, the director of Sasuke, has said a while back now that he eventually wants to replace all the iconic obstacles of Sasuke. Though essentially being like the salmon ladder, warp wall, cliffhanger, that sort of stuff. And he hasn't done it yet. Obviously, I think a lot has to do with money issues, with the fact that they're not able to put the money into building replacements for those. But also, I feel like some has to do with the connection to A&W. I do feel like the warp wall in particular being the last obstacle is something that Sasuke just likes doing to further associate itself with Ninja Warrior as a brand, which typically has its first round in with the warp wall. And I feel like that's the same sort of situation here. I also feel like having warp wall as the last obstacle makes the warp wall much more thrilling obstacle where really the entire run comes down to 1 or 2 attempts on the warp wall, and it is really tense to see those attempts there as someone has a perfect run up until then, but still miss the wall 2 times and instantly fail afterwards. So I mean, if you don't know where I'm going with this, I want the warp wall. The question is, do I want the warp wall tackle combo? And I'm leaning towards no. I think you can do a couple things. Like the thing is, I think the tackle is perfect as a filler obstacle before the warp wall, as obviously tires your legs and makes it so your stamina is lessened by the time you get to the warp wall. Like I think it makes sense as an obstacle before, but I actually think maybe what we should do is just increase the size of the warp wall, make it a bit taller, and then maybe just add in another obstacle. Now, I don't know if you make an obstacle before and another filler obstacle, but then at that point, like, why not just tackle that point? I think my ideal situation is never happening. I would like warp wall in the flying shoe and have the flying shoe as the final obstacle. I love the flying shoe. Flying shoe is another one of my favorite obstacles, especially the Sasuke 19 version of it. Like, I get why it's not there anymore. It is very prone to having injuries on it, and I don't even think it passes health and safety at this point. But it's like I love that obstacle so much. It would be so great to have the warp wall into the flying shoe and have the flying shoe as the final obstacle of the course. I think it would make those 2 obstacles really, really tense. Is it happening? No, it's not. But that would be my ideal. What I think is realistic is I think we're probably keeping displacement. I think warp wall probably going to be the last obstacle. The question is, do they keep the tackle or not? What do they replace it with? I think more than likely they keep the tackle, but if they did change it up, I don't know what else you would go with. Like, we've seen A&W try to have the wall lift before the tackle, but to me it doesn't make that much sense. I feel the tackle is a much better obstacle to have there. I mean, you need something that tires out the legs. I mean, that's really the point of having it before the warp wall. So again, like they would need to create something new. But really, like, I'm fine if it's staying. Like if it goes, it goes. I would prefer it to go, but if it stays, I'm not that upset either. Really, for me, with this entire stage 1, I'm really fine with the fishbone on. Like yes, I think there should be modifications to like the fishbone is slightly more difficult. I think the warp wall should be made slightly more difficult. But I'm really fine with that portion of the course. It's really the beginning of the course that I do want to see a change in. And now for stage 2, and stage 2 as a whole, let's just get this out of the way. I want it to be completely modified. It's not happening. I don't think it's happening. And if it happens, it's going to be in a way that I don't want it to happen. But ideally, I would like stage 2 to go back to being the speed course that it was back in the pre-Sasuke 17 days. It's not going to though, because one, again, I think it would take up a lot of the budget to change up stage 2. Plus, also, I think they were pretty happy with how stage 2 played out in Sasuke 38. And to be fair, I was happy with how Sasuke 38 played out in terms of stage 2, because I think stage 2, the modifications they made there by adding the rolling log at the beginning, made stage 2 the most riveting it's been in a while. But I still want everything else to change. I still think it's a boring course. And the only reason it was somewhat interesting is because we did see some timeouts. Some other people just like being discombobulated due to the rolling log. But realistically, the course is still really boring, and I want it to change, but it's not going to. And again, as I said, if it's going to, and Nui has talked about this in the past, that if he had his wishes, the entire stage 2 would be an underwater course. Which is like, that's not what I want. That's the opposite of what I want. Get rid of the backstream. We'll talk about the backstream. But like, why are we doing an underwater course? No one wants that, right? Like, I only want one underwater obstacle, let alone the entire thing being underwater. But Well, let's run through obstacle. First up, rolling log. I'm fine with it. I mean, the thing is, like, if we're going to keep the modern stage 2, like, we need the rolling log there. Like, that's what makes stage 2 interesting now. Such a tight time limit. The rolling log being a big time waster. It also making contestants busy before the salmon ladder, which can cause some interesting results. So I think the rolling log needs to stay. I do question the type of rolling log that we have, because the type of rolling log that we have is very much like the A&W style rolling log, which actually probably does work out better here than what the old stage 1 rolling log used to be. But I think that also makes it a lot more prone to being stuck, which can kind of cause some wonky fails there. But overall, like, we're going to keep a pretty similar stage 2. I can keep the rolling log. Ideally, though, I would rather go for a more dynamic opening to the stage, but it's fine. Next, we got the up-down salmon ladder, and I mean, for me, I want this to go. I'm done with the salmon ladder. I mean, I'm done, especially with the up-down salmon ladder. Like, to me, this is so boring to watch this point, and I feel this way with every salmon ladder across all the Ninja Warrior shows that I watch. Like, the salmon ladder is just such a boring obstacle. It's when so many people trained on it, and we've just seen it so many times in so many different iterations that I just don't want to see it anymore. Yeah, will it happen? I don't know, actually, I think the salmon ladder is definitely the one that is most likely to go out of the big 3 Sasuke obstacles. Like, the warp wall, salmon ladder, the finger. I think salmon ladder is most likely to go. That being said, though, I still think it's probably going to stay, at least in some form. Like, I can see them modifying it, but it's like, what do you do with it, though? Again, like, considering the amount of space they have to work with, it's like, what do you do with the salmon ladder? Because the reason why we have the up-down salmon ladder the way it is because they have that very limited amount of space there to fill in, and I think you would have to rapidly change the course if you were wanting to put like a more interesting obstacle there. To be honest, my ideal right here, I think I would actually prefer a Wingnut Alley-esque obstacle. Like, I know a lot of people hate Wingnut Alley from A&W, they think it's too difficult. I actually really like Wingnut Alley, and if they could get rid of like the salmon ladder, get rid of the spider walk, and just replace it with Wingnut Alley, I would be fine with that. I would be okay with that. I think it would be a lot of fun, especially having them do Wingnut Alley immediately after the rolling log. Like, I think it would be cool. I would be okay with that. Will it happen? No, it will not. I can guarantee you that. But to be honest, like, even if we replace the salmon ladder with just the Wingnuts, I think that's okay too. Like, just get rid of the salmon ladder. I don't need it there anymore. And speaking of that, we're moving on to the spider walk. Same thing. Spider walk, spider drop, get rid of it. I don't need this at all. Really, I really want this gone. Even more so the salmon ladder. I would get rid of the spider walk before salmon ladder. Spider walk to me is just so pointless. Such an easy obstacle, just a time waster. No real reason to be there. I mean, if we can do salmon ladder into Wingnut, I would be okay with that too. Not the worst thing in the world. Or even like salmon ladder into roulette row, or like one of those style of obstacles, like just something else. Don't get rid of this. Replace it with a relatively quick, fun obstacle to watch. And I guess at this point we can skip forward to the backstream as well. Get rid of the backstream. I don't want the backstream at all. Like, I would. Okay, this is the order of elimination in terms of stage 2. Get rid of backstream number 1. Get rid of spider walk number 2. Get rid of salmon ladder number 3. It's such a boring stretch of obstacles. Like, I really don't want these obstacles in stage 2. And really, like, just give me a quick, fast stage 2 at this point. It's like, why are we having these obstacles that take a decent amount of time and are also just boring to watch? Bring me back Metal Spin. I love Metal Spin. I think Metal Spin is a failable obstacle, also a really quick obstacle. Why do we have an unfailable, boring obstacle like the backstream to watch instead? It's like, please get rid of it. It's not happening, and Louis loves it. I don't know why he loves it, because he hasn't done anything in forever. Even when it did do something, it was because they kept on changing the power of the jets all the time. It's like, can we just like, get rid of it, please? Again, that would be my ideal. I think my ideal, actually, I think after talking about it more, I think probably like salmon ladder into Wingnut into Metal Spin. That would be awesome. Or salmon ladder into Wingnut into roulette row. Anything like that, I'm fine with. Do it, please. Don't just make another like really dragged out, boring stage 2 that we skip through every time anyway. Make it at least something interesting to watch. And something that's also failable. It just gets kind of boring after salmon ladder. Like all we just see is like timeouts. Like, I really just want an overly failable stage 2, but I guess that's not what I really want. Next up, we got the conveyor belt. I mean, in my opinion, just get rid of it. Like, I don't know why the conveyor belt's even here anymore. And especially if we're adding like better obstacles before the conveyor belt. I look at the conveyor belt something that we just entirely scrap. We don't need it there. It's boring to watch. It has some dumb rule that you can't use the sides that they sometimes enforce, sometimes don't. It's like, can we just get rid of this? And another obstacle I just don't want on the course. And then we end the stage with the wall lift. I think wall lift can stay. Wall lift and rolling log are literally the only two obstacles on the course I'm like 100% okay with. But really, it's just that middle section of the stage that's so boring that I really want them to change, but it just doesn't seem like Louis feels like he needs to change it. And if he does, it feels like he needs to change it for the worse. We're getting talked about wanting an all underwater stage 2. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the stage 2 for Sasuke 38 and it turns out we have like 3 water obstacles back to back to back. Which again, I really, really don't want, but even then, at least it would be new. At least it would be not the same like spider walk, salmon ladder, like boring stuff that we've seen for a while now. So even though it's not the way stage 2 to be going, at least it would be something. And my ideal again, like I would like obstacles like the Wingnuts and roulette row and possibly return to Metal Spin. Again, some of these failable quicker obstacles. I mean, to be fair, Wingnuts is not super quick, but at least it's a very failable obstacle. Which again, stage 2 doesn't really have that much of. But let's move on to stage 3, which I don't expect to see major changes on stage 3. I think we're going to see one major change. I would be pretty surprised if they don't do, which we will be talking about. But I think for the most part, stage 3 is going to stay relatively the same because I mean, stage 3 is almost unbeatable in its current form anyway. Like we really only see one person even be able to beat its current iteration in that being Morimoto. So I wouldn't be surprised if Inui goes out of his way to specifically build obstacles to take Morimoto down at this point. Considering Morimoto is far and away the best Sasuke competitor in this era, and it's not really close. Like he's the only person that I can see beating this current version of stage 3 with a workable cooking dimension, with the vertical limit, with all these things. Like I feel like Morimoto's the only one who can do it. So I do feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Inui tries to build a course that actively tries to take Morimoto down. But to be honest, I don't even know what that would really have to be. I guess it would have to be a lot of like technical obstacles, and a lot of newer technical obstacles, ones that the obviously would be able to train on right off the bat. So again, like, I think like obstacles, obviously not these obstacles, but obstacles like the flying bar, obstacles like maybe like Keen Lane from AW, like obstacles like that aren't super trainable unless you have the recognition of the obstacle there. Like obstacles that have a certain strategy to it, and whether or not you clear the obstacle will be more so about that strategy than the actual raw strength that you have to Morimoto has in stage. Let's talk about the current stage.
Creating meaningful connections starts with the right promotional products for impact for certain.
When Greg laces up in the Levitate 5, he becomes the game changer. Discover your alter ego today.
Not yet.
They start off with the combo of Flying Bar, Sidewinder. I personally would like to see this go. I'm not like anti this obstacle, just again, I feel this is like a combo that we've seen for too long already, and it's kind of boring at this point. I don't really know what you replace it with. I mean, I would want it to be something that drains you to a degree at least, because I would like it to be something that makes the cliffhanger dimension a bit more difficult. I know this is a complaint a lot of people have with the current stage 3 that's so reliant around the cliffhanger. I personally don't mind it as long as the obstacles before it are still entertaining to watch. I think the Flying Bar is still an entertaining obstacle. I don't think the Sidewinder is. So like, I wouldn't be upset if we got like a flying bar into something else, like something new. I just don't really have a great idea of what that would be. I mean, it would probably have to be a new obstacle, or maybe make flying bar the final obstacle again, and in turn, like, make these two obstacles to start the stage entirely new. Or, I mean, something that I don't think this would ever happen, but this would be fun, is if we got the flying bar into like the corkscrew from A&W, which is a really fun obstacle in A&W. I don't think that obstacle would pass health and safety in Japan, though. And health and safety have become notoriously really strict in the recent years. While there's obstacles that I think would have gotten to go ahead back in the day. I mean, back in the day we had like the flying chute, again, an obstacle that's probably really dangerous. Nowadays, I feel like there's no way they're gonna allow an obstacle like the corkscrew on Sasuke, but it would be really fun. Maybe a cane lane, maybe that's something that would be cool immediately after flying bar, but it's like, again, like, really, I don't have a solid answer here. Next up, we have the Planet Bridge. I could go with or without this. I mean, I think it's a quick enough obstacle to where I'm not like entirely bored by it, but it's also an obstacle that serves no real purpose in the current iteration. And they don't really feel it tires you out that much, and also it's not an obstacle that people are actually making mistakes on to fail it. So I don't think it really has that much of a purpose, even though I'm not actively against this. I don't really have a good sense of what they could do to the Planet Bridge to make it more dangerous. I guess you can just add like a whole bunch of gaps to the board where your feet are, but like really at the end of the day, like, I don't know if it's fine without it. I don't think we 100% need the Planet Bridge, but also I'm not like 100% against it either. Like if it stays, but really just mostly indifferent about it. Next up, we got the Cliffhanger Dimension, and I think this should stay. Knowing Inui, you'll probably just add in another crazy thing to make it even more difficult. But I think as is, I think the Cliffhanger Dimension is fine. It's a difficult enough obstacle. I mean, we only saw Morimoto clear it in the last round, though technically that Black Tiger was very close to clearing it as well. But it is a very difficult obstacle, a very technical obstacle. I would be surprised again if they add another element of timing to it to make it slightly more difficult. But I think in its current form, it does its job. I think it is at the difficulty it needs to be. The question is, what do you do after the Cliffhanger Dimension? Because this is the thing. I think what we should do to the Cliffhanger Dimension is add another obstacle immediately after. Like obviously before we had the ultra crazy Cliffhanger into the vertical limit, and at the time that was like a ridiculous obstacle. No one's ever going to clear it. I don't think it's as ridiculous anymore. I think at this point, I think Morimoto needs an obstacle to that level to really give him a lot of difficulty. Mind you, I think vertical limit might be a bit too much. Vertical limit is a brutal obstacle in its own right, but I do think having another very quick defensive obstacle immediately after Cliffhanger isn't the worst idea in the world. Like the first obstacle that comes to my mind is the curtain cling. Like maybe have a curtain cling immediately afterwards, but I think curtain cling is just not that interesting of an obstacle. And it's also an obstacle where you technically use your feet, which kind of lets you feel the obstacle. Though I mean, would that be the worst thing in the world? You had Cliffhanger Dimension into curtain cling where you can use your feet immediately into vertical limit. It's an insane combo. I do feel like that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to still give you a grip intensive obstacle between those obstacles and allow you to rest by allowing you to use your feet, which will allow you to regain some grip in your hands, but also still have this brutal obstacle immediately afterwards. I think it is too insane of a combo to actually realistically do, especially considering the fact that let's just jump straight into vertical limit.
Has no idea.
It's already brutal. It's already really tough. I think it'd be really awesome if we saw the progression with the vertical limit that we saw with Cliffhanger, where this is the third kind of version of vertical limit. Like it kind of feels like the Sasuke 9 through 17 version of the Cliffhanger. I think we need a Sasuke version of the Cliffhanger translated to vertical limit now. I think we need a jump, and it would be really awesome to see. I don't know how difficult it would be. I don't know if that's too difficult. I think it is 100% too difficult if you're having all these obstacles in a row. But I think if you maybe add in a break after the Cliffhanger, to have a jump within the vertical limit, I think would be a really, really interesting element to that. And really, that's what I do expect to see. I do expect the vertical limit to remain on the course, but be made more difficult. I feel like that's probably the easiest way to make it more difficult is by making the competitors jump from ledge to ledge. But again, like, I just don't know how feasible it actually is in reality. And that leads us to the final obstacle, the pipe slider. I don't know what to do with the pipe slider anymore. I feel like the pipe slider should probably go. It's also a really iconic obstacle, but it really hasn't done that much damage recently, mainly because they haven't added a notch that locks the bar relatively in place to make it a lot easier on the jump. Now, I think one of the easiest ways to make it more difficult is to remove that, but like at the same time, I feel like the pipe slider is an obstacle that's practiced enough that anyone that gets to it can do it. Now, you talked earlier about the flying bar, but as I said, like, I think the flying bar is also just a solid first obstacle as well, as long as it has a solid obstacle immediately after it. Really, I think the thing that I personally would like to see here, I would like to see the grinding ring back. Now, you know what that is? Back in Shin Sasuke, the final obstacle stage 3 was the gliding ring. This ring that slid down a track, and at the end you would jump to the platform. You know, relatively easy obstacle, especially without the timing ring. However, in Sasuke 21, the first time the obstacle was actually in tournament, it malfunctioned, where it didn't glide, instead it kind of grinded, where you had to hop the bar down the track and then also make the jump. That's the version of the obstacle I want to see. The obstacle that not going to fail at the end of Sasuke 21, where you actually have to use the pipe slider-esque technique, but with a ring.
Oh shit, it's already fucked. Yeah, we wasted a lot of time in game.
I do expect probably like one new obstacle and then possibly some new format changes between the Cliffhanger and the vertical limit. But outside that, I do expect mostly the same stage 3. I think it's mostly going to be ramped up in difficulty, mainly to take on Morimoto. With that, let's move on to the final stage, which was saying I really like the current iteration of the final stage. We have Spider Climb, 2 Salmon Ladder, 2 Rope Climb. I don't see them actually changing this. I don't even know if I want to change it. I really like it as is. I wouldn't be opposed to them just lowering the time limit by 5 seconds. Make a 40-second time limit. Obviously, Morimoto cleared it with a little over 2 seconds. I do think if you lower the time limit by 5 seconds, it still becomes a brutal final stage at that point, where even Morimoto would have to give the rest of his life to even have a chance at clearing that. Like, I do feel like the final stage here is pretty perfect as is. Like, I don't have any real issues with it. I feel like it's mostly exactly what I want from it. Like, really, this is the dream final stage I wanted for a really long time back since Shin Sasuke. In fact, we're finally getting it here. Like, just get rid of it almost immediately after it's been introduced. I think would be kind of my intent with Shin Sasuke too. But you get the point. We haven't seen that many runs on it. Most of them have been from Morimoto himself. So I would like to see this final stage still stay there, just maybe reduce time limit slightly. And there we go. That is my course prediction / speculation / wants. I don't expect there to be many changes. I think if anything, we're just gonna see the return of some older obstacles, maybe a new obstacle here and there. It's kind of similar to Sasuke 32. I think that's the most realistic approach that we're seeing, where like maybe 1 or 2 new difficult obstacles in stage 1 and 2, probably an overly difficult stage 3 to guarantee that there isn't a winner, and then probably there's another final stage. Those are my predictions for the course of Sasuke 39. Obviously, whenever we get Sasuke 39, I will be covering
The
that.
details of
But
the
for now, that is the video.
finds
Thank you
are
for
spread
watching.
out over the rest of the field. But they appear pleasantly vague.
I don't even know where it was at on the live feed update. Ah, shit.
But they appear pleasantly vague.
Like,
These
what
are
is
quite
the
sinister
point?
in turn.
That's
They
for
give
the
date
now.
and time for the person to appear at the specified
Ozza talks to the
police
cameras.
station.
She says
Below
that
the
it's
core are the
pretty
criminal
interesting.
charges.
Yeah.
Shouldn't really come as a surprise to anyone, but she says to the cameras, I
really want to win HOH next week. I really want to
All
put
in a
Kylan on the block,
so
and I
small,
really want to
it
send
could be
Kylan home
considered
next week.
downright
I
cute.
would do that if not for the cause. I
A
would
dozen
really
pages
want to
of
do
thin
that, but
copy
I won't. But I
bright
really
red
want to do
colours.
that.
You see the parameters
I really
of a
want to
deceased
see that. I'm
form
sorry, like
waiting to be
I
filled
want
in.
I want to
Age,
see
sex,
her do that.
condition of internal
It's been
organs.
just so frustrating this week to watch, like on our end as well. So I would love to see her get some revenge, get some power, just like make something happen in this game. But she wouldn't have the votes to do it, so
all
it
that
wouldn't be
remains
possible,
now
of course.
is to fill
And we know
those
the cause
forms
is
and
something
hand
that's
them to
driving
people.
the six of
Fines for
them their
wrongdoers.
mission
Interview
in this
requests
game.
for
So
bad guys.
I do want to see her
The
put him
rest
up
of the
though, because I think she
stinking
said that she wanted to
cellulose
see him
is much
squirm.
worse for wear.
So like see
Being
him on the
sandwiched
block for the
between the
entire
board and
week,
the
see
rest
how
of
it
the paperwork
feels. Like
must have
I'm
spared
into
the
that
fragile
secondarily.
copy of
But
paper. The acidic stench
so
of rotten
Claire is
food
going to
has
talk to
rubbed off
Kylan
on
about
the
the vote,
cellulose. It
and
now forms the
Kylan
base
kind of
of the
starts by being
experience.
like, yeah, you
This
know, I could
base,
go either
surrounded
way.
by a faint
Ultimately,
layer of
kind of comes
spoiled
around to I
meat,
do prefer
the
Brittany
stuff of
leaving.
death itself.
Claire says she's
And
been
then
about
sprinkled
50-50 on it. She
liberally
says she
with
thinks
the
it's worth
citrus zest
thinking
of
about.
toilet cleaner.
Kylan does an okay job here with Claire, and then completely drops the ball with
like the
Derek,
bits
who
they
comes
put
in
into
afterwards
public
saying
piss
that he
bowls,
thinks Brittany should
probably
stay.
called
Kylan's
Fernie
response is
Discreet
essentially,
or Axel.
yeah, I mean,
or
you know, let's
something.
talk to everyone
At
about
some
it and see
point
what
in
they
its
think.
journey,
You know,
the
let's
ledger
like
has seen
essentially
the
have a
inside of
vote.
a
You know,
public
see
toilet.
what the group thinks. See where everyone stands. And Derek's like, well, I kind of stand
Remember
that
when
I
I
think
said
Brittany
the
should
smell
stay.
of
I'm
the
like
upstairs
60-40.
bathroom
Kind of like,
so
well, I'm like
rank, they should have sent a
75-25
poem
Brittany
to
going.
describe it.
But let's talk about it with everyone. And like this is the
Why,
opposite
yes,
of what
it is.
Tiffany wanted him to
Among
do.
many
Because
other
now
things,
he's like, yeah, I mean, I would
this
prefer
cleaning
Brittany leaving, but if the
tablet
group
is
wants
used by the
to
wailing
keep her,
rags.
then we can
Perhaps
do
that's
that.
where the legend
It's like,
drops
no,
in
that's
the
she's
toilet.
trying to.
It's
You
made
have
of
to
dark
then
blue
state
plastic,
all of
hard
your.
enough to
That's
get
the
someone to
opposite of
some
what
shape.
they wanted.
The
Now
edges are
every
rounded
cookout
now.
member in this group
Something
has to
rattles
explain
inside,
that they
ever
want
so
Brittany to
lightly.
go, and they
It's
have to
there,
explain why, and they
hidden
can't. 'Cause
compartment.
the arguments don't make
And
sense
something
unless you're in the
small
cookout.
inside,
That's why they didn't
light,
want it to be that way.
made
You
of
just
paper
needed
or
to be.
cardboard.
You just needed to be the
Permeables.
one person
It's
that
not
was like, you
hidden
know
per
what?
se.
I
The
need Brittany to
compartment is
go.
made for
I need her to go.
permeable
I put her up.
materials
She's coming
that
after
would be
me,
damaged
and
if
I
something
can't hear
happened to
anything
it.
else about it. And I really hope that you will support me in this as an ally.
The
But
plastic
instead, he was like,
shells
nah,
like
let's see what
lapis
everyone
lazuli,
thinks.
but it is
It's
not
so
see-through.
confusing.
You cannot
Kylan,
see
what's
to its
happening?
center.
Like, you know, you want to have an easy out for the cookout to be able to say why they can't give a vote, right? Like, this is like Derek X was like, everybody wanted
Something
Christian out.
rattles
He's like, well,
inside,
Derek X
ever so
wanted him out. He's
lightly.
the head of household. We
Is
don't want to go
there,
against the head of
a
household.
hidden
So this is what
compartment.
everybody's saying in order
It's
to like
something
to
small inside,
debunk these
light,
people that are giving
made of
really
paper
good
or
points as to
cardboard,
why the vote
or
should be
dried
flipped.
flowers,
And so
perhaps.
for you to be like, well, I'm kind of, you know, I'm
Permeables.
good
It's
either
not
way.
hidden
It's
per
like,
se.
no, you can't be
The
good either way,
compartment
because
is
if you're
made
good
for
either way, then we're going to go
permeable
the other
materials
way.
that
We're
would
going to
be
have
damaged
to,
if
because it
something
won't make any
happened to it.
sense to not. And so, Kylan, get
The
with it.
plastic
What's happening
shimmers
this
like
week?
lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through.
So they move on. They
cannot
start
see
talking
it.
about.
Wait, so this doesn't
Derek.
work?
It's
Derek feels like
something
he
small
lost.
inside.
He has lost some trust
Permeable.
with Kylan this week.
The
That he
plastic
really
shimmer.
felt like he
With
was
your
kept in the
hands,
dark.
you
And
four-sized
Kylan,
pages hang from the tip,
so
screwed
Derek
to the
explains.
top
I
of the
feel like
board.
you know, weren't really telling me
The two
things.
sides of the
I
board
didn't
appear
feel like
slightly
things were
resolved,
properly explained,
like
and
a
I
drawer
felt
that's
like
come
you
off a
were leaving me in the
slide.
dark. And
If
Kylan
you
says,
bend the plastic on your
I
knee,
disagree.
the slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just...
I disagree with your feelings.
Without resistance,
Yeah, telling me how
or
I
sound,
feel
the
about
two
something
panels move
that you've
against
done.
each other.
I
The
what I
compartment
told
is
you.
now
As soon as things happened, I started.
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too. Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral buttons, patches of glue. It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored. A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti. Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand.
Actually, I forgot how much longer my 2020 year in gaming video was than my 2019 one.
Effort and a smile.
Because I kind of want to rewatch it again.
Although it is not something
I don't know why I really like rewatching my those videos.
15 games I finished. So let's just start off at number 15. At number 15.
Let's just listen to the ranking itself.
I guess. I mean, to be fair, I don't dislike any of these games. While these first couple are pretty mediocre, they're not actively bad. And at number 15 here, I have the Dark Pictures Anthology, Fan of Medan, or Medan. And I just found this game really boring. I mean, I dislike Until Dawn, probably not as much as most other people, but I enjoyed it. And I was expecting Medan here to be just as solid, but it just felt like a rip-off of it. I mean, it felt like they just took all the assets from Until Dawn and then just wanted to do those stories. I find any of the characters here to be nearly as interesting as characters of Until Dawn. Yeah, pretty much everything from gameplay, story, everything first Until Dawn, but on those shit. And I never liked those shit sort of stories to begin with, so for me, it didn't really catch to this one, though. I would say it's a bad game, though. It's just very eh. Number 14, I think I have very similar opinions of, and that is Erica. Now, Erica is an epic game, which obviously means that it's just a movie that you interact with. And that's cool. I mean, obviously, this is a thing that was really big back in, like, what, the late 80s, early 90s, that sort of period. And it's weird to see that it's kind of had a movie resurgence nowadays, and Erica is fine for what it is. It's not really a narrative that I really got too invested in. It's about this girl trying to find out what happened to her dad, make choices throughout the game, interact with things like opening doors and that sort of stuff. It's okay. But usually with this sort of game, and same thing goes with Amazon, I feel like you might play them again after finishing them. See all the different endings and that sort of stuff. I just didn't feel like that with Erica here. I just felt like I never needed to play the game again. So because that Erica's here number 14, but that being said, it's not bad, it's fine. And number 13, I would say, probably more faults with than the last two that I talked about. But I also think it's higher than this, and I like Strange too. And Life is Strange 1 is one of my all-time favorite games. It's a game that, for some reason, I just really connected to, despite it having a bevy of narrative flaws. And here, Life is Strange 2, I have almost similar opinions of this that I have from Before the Storm, where it feels like they threw away everything I liked about Life is Strange 1, except everything I didn't like about Life is Strange 1, where we still have the dumb dialogue, we still have this sort of social justice warrior-esque narrative. But to be honest, I'm not upset about it. It seems like a lot of internet was.
Alright, I think we'll save here. Oh, can I not save?
I think the time travel element of the first game was one of my favorite aspects of it, and that's obviously completely missing here. I mean, you can play
Why can't I save?
have superpowers in this game, and that's also another kind of underwhelming element of it. To be honest, I just found major parts of this game pretty boring. I mean, I really liked the beginning of episode 1, but I found the second half of episode 1 pretty boring. I felt like the first half of episode 2 was pretty boring, but I liked the second half. I really loved episode 3, but then I found almost all of episode 4 and the beginning part of episode 5 just really dull. I mean, again, it's not an experience I really particularly enjoyed. I do plan on eventually doing a video on the Life is Strange series as a whole, so because I will probably replay this game at some point, but it's not really a game that I enjoyed playing.
Well, that's annoying.
Certain aspects of it I enjoyed. I mean, coming of age sort of narrative with Sean, I thought was somewhat compelling, especially in episode 3. I had like a real connection between Life is Strange 1 and 2 in the final episode, but outside that, it's not really my favorite game in the world. Kind of bored me a lot of the way through, similar to the last two games on the list, so that's why it's here number 13. Now, number 12, we're getting to the first like gameplay-based game on the list, as the last three were all narrative-based games. And here at number 12, we have One Piece World Seeker, and I already mentioned this, I'm a big One Piece fan, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with this game. I know it's pretty mediocre reviews, and overall the game on its own, it's not that great of a game.
Wait, what are these saves? These are all autosaves? I think we'll keep the autosaves around.
Now, obviously, there are aspects of it that are pretty mediocre. The open world itself isn't as fleshed out as I would like it to be. I think certain control things aren't particularly great. The combat is kind of just mediocre. The narrative is just kind of dumb. Where it's like almost every major character within One Piece makes an appearance here for like no real reason. But
Yeah, when's here?
I really enjoyed playing it. I think it was just one open world action game. I mean, that's one of my favorite genres.
Except 61. I don't think Roger.